Peace, love, and light. Peace, love, and light. Greetings to everyone. Doing a quick live video related to the blog post that I recently wrote on motherhood. If you haven't read it, I posted for you. Just quickly inviting others to the live. However you do that, I'm not really sure how to do that. This is my first time going live on YouTube. It says I have one viewer, so it's always nice to try these things out, figure out how they work. Let's see. So, I'm not really sure how to invite people to watch this live video. Let's see. I think that's the share button. There it goes. There it goes. Okay. Now, people are very impatient these days. A lot of times when they're going to watch videos, they're just looking to be entertained. I'm not, I am an entertainer, but that's not what I'm on here for today. Today I'm on here to share about motherhood and a walking meditation for those who don't know what that is. Or I'm explaining something similar to what a walking meditation is. And one moment, I'm just sharing so people can come and join. If they want to, just in case anybody has questions, it'll be easier for me to discuss. I look hard on that preview picture. I can be a little grumpy. Okay, now everything wants to be dark. Of course, which is all good. I could come in the camera a little bit. That's fine. All right, so I'm just going to explain to you all a little bit about what a walking meditation is. That's when you are functioning just like I'm functioning right now. So even while I'm talking to you, a lot of times, especially in the past, when I used to do a lot of YouTube videos, I try to be in an in-between state. And I'm speaking about your consciousness, in between state, your conscious state, and that's the clouds outside, the sun going back and forth behind the clouds. I like to use natural light. But anyway, that in-between state where you are still functioning, but you're still in a meditational state. So, you don't have to, probably first starting out meditating, you probably do need a certain type of environment and to be just completely remove yourself from operating in the present. Um, but you can still meditate and still be functioning. Um, and especially, I think that's especially important for mothers or parents in general, you know, who have, especially if you have young children, you don't really have the luxury of spending 30 minutes, an hour, you know, several times throughout the day, meditating like I did when I was single. Yeah, I meditated a lot, maybe sometimes even all day long. But especially when you know how to um, be functional and still in a meditative state, you can be in that state of mind all day long. So what your goal is to really access what some people call the all, or God consciousness, or Christ consciousness, or um, that's really what the Bible is speaking of when it talks about walking in the Spirit, um, the Holy Spirit. What is the Holy Spirit? That's God's Spirit. So, that's when your consciousness, becomes one with God's consciousness, or God takes over your consciousness. However, if that's what you need for God to do, you know, however you understand it. A lot of times people have different understandings and they think that their understanding is the only right answer. And that's arrogant and foolish. Um, I'm not that way. I'm not arrogant. I'm not foolish. I've experienced too much and I've been walking with the Creator too long, to be religious minded and dogmatic. Um, and that's something people often misunderstand about me. So I just want to clear that up. Um, a lot of times, if I say to someone, if someone asks me, "Hey, are you Christian?" By definition of Christian, yes, I'm Christian. I follow Christ. I believe in being one with Christ. Um, absolutely. If somebody asks me, "Hey, are you Muslim?" Absolutely, I'm Muslim by definition of what a Muslim is. I am entirely submitted to the will of Allah. I work towards that. Yes, on a daily basis. Um, everybody can't say that. Even people who call themselves Muslims religiously, it's a difference between being religious and really seeking truth, really seeking divinity, really seeking God. It's a whole different path. Um, and masses of people don't usually understand that. So I was just trying to explain so everybody can understand what I'm saying when I say an in-between state or a walking meditation. If you go to the temple, like a Buddhist temple, you know, that's something that they can teach you. Somebody might ask, "Hey, are you Buddhist?" Um, you know, if I go to a Buddhist temple, I'm not gonna feel like an outcast, or that those beliefs don't line up with mine. It's all about your understanding. Um, some of us have very limited understandings of things where we can't, things get lost in translation. That's all I can say. Things get lost in translation and language. Um, and that's just what it is. And, you know, I don't have those kind of problems. So you can say I'm pretty open. Um, not really. Not really, but that's how some people are going to understand it, and that's fine. Um, I think I've spent some time trying to water down things that I say to help people relate, or relate to people, um, because you'll learn that the more spiritual you get, I'm talking about true spirituality as far as growing in righteousness, um, and growing in God likeness, um, the more alone you become as far as people, other humans, other people on the earth that can relate to you, because now you're closer to God. You're not as going to be as close to people who are uh, operating constantly on the lower plane of thinking, operating constantly, you know, out of worldliness or worldly programming. And we know who rules the world. You know, somebody who's worldly, you know, they're susceptible to, they're on a different path. Let's just say that, they're on a different path, and they're not going to be able to understand you as quickly. So, I spend a lot of time sometimes choosing my words so that people can understand from where they are. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's definitely nothing wrong with that if your goal is to reach someone. But sometimes it can be a little bit tedious, um, cause a lot of stress, you know. So sometimes you have to be free too. And I'm saying all this because, I feel the need to be free within myself and for myself, um, especially when I'm speaking about something that's a reflection on an experience that I'm having. It makes it difficult if I'm trying to help someone else understand something that they probably can't understand because they haven't experienced anything similar to that. So people are going to try to relate from where they are. Um, so I mean, it is what it is. If someone is someone who channels, if you're somebody who channels, um, then you'll understand a little bit better what I'm talking about when I'm talking about that in between states. Um, I know some people channel, they completely lose consciousness and allow another being to enter into, and speak or whatever. If that's how you do it, then that's different as well. Um, I'm talking about a walking meditation where I am in, I'm the master of myself, um, and completely surrendered to the spirits of what the only word in English is God, unfortunately, it's the only word we have, which is being used to cover so many different things. So it's hard, even in English, to have a concrete conversation about spiritual things because the people who developed English, weren't adept in spiritual concepts. So, um, anyway, all right. So I did have one invisible. I don't know how to see who's watching me or how to see if anybody's saying anything because I know there's supposed to be a live chat stream or something. So I'm trying to figure this thing out. I might use it more often, maybe. Let's see. But I have no idea how to see any comments or anything like that. So I wish I did. There we go. Maybe comments supposed to be right here. Okay. Maybe no. Okay. Wonderful. So if anybody have any questions about that, please feel free. I can explain more, you know, from your perspective. I can reach wherever you are. I can help you understand it where you're at. I have a gift in doing that because I've studied, and I'm not judgmental, and I'm not dogmatic. So, makes it easier for me to help people to reach their spiritual goals. And I am so off topic because I got on here to talk about motherhood and to really express more about this blog post um, that I wrote. I got a lot of feedback on it, a lot of responses on it. And I wanted to give everyone an opportunity to ask any questions they may have, you know, and just open up a platform for people to express themselves um, in regards to anything really, in regards to that blog post. It's called Motherhood. That's my blog, Random Ramblings. I will, let's see, I can post a link. Why not? I got a lot of feedback and I give people the opportunity to hear me express, and explain things that may not have been understood. Um, so the thing about motherhood, motherhood is so important, and I know um, we don't talk enough about wounds that we receive from, not having mothers, absent mothers, or um, abusive mothers in the home, um, and things like that. Or your mother not even being able to be present because she had to carry the load due to your father not being present or not being supported, etc., etc. So, she just was working and she wasn't there. Um, there's trauma there, whether people want to admit it or not. That creates a lot of trauma. Um, and the thing about trauma that occurs from a mother that doesn't love you, that thing is going to be genetic. It's going to be there. It's going to be printed on your DNA, and it's something that has to be addressed. Um, it has to be addressed and dealt with appropriately. You can't go on pretending that you have a great mother when you don't. A lot of people do that. Go on pretending, honoring our mothers, etc., etc. Um, when they've dropped the ball, kind of protecting that image, you know, out of a means for survival. Because if we have an absent father, and the only person there is this abusive or toxic mother or mother who's not mothering, etc., etc., you know, there's a, let's see, psychologically, you go into the danger zone of needing to protect this image because it's the only thing that you have um, that's helping you to keep it together, or, that's allowing you some type of psychological comfort, So I understand it, and it's I know it's hard for people to address, um, and I know a lot of times, it's easy to say, okay, well, you know, my dad wasn't around. My dad's a deadbeat. He was absent, and or whatever it was. That's easier for people to talk about. But people don't talk about the single fathers, that we have out here. Um, People don't talk about that. People don't talk about the moms who, aren't home, who are going off on vacations, or the moms who are, spend all their time at work, et cetera, et cetera. And, So many of us in today's world are not mothered. You know, we like to talk about how we weren't fathered, because that's easier to talk about, and it's also easier to deal with, and it's easier to recover from. But when you don't have that nurturing, you don't have that mothering, that hits you. It's on a deeper level because you were in this person's body. Do you understand that? You are so deeply connected to your mother in a way that scientists can't even understand, okay? Because of that umbilical cord, okay? They're still studying your placentas now, stealing and studying placentas now for stem cells and everything else. Black women are just so divine and incredible, but we have to understand that power that we have, that divinity that we have, and use it properly and understand our importance in the home because we take it for granted. It's taken for granted that women understand their importance in the home. And many of us do not understand our importance in our home and are not playing the roles that we need to play in the home and are not there for our children, nurturing our children, raising our children. Um, we're not doing it. We've bought into these, worldly lies and ways of doing things, and our homes are suffering for it. You know, our homes are suffering for it. And nobody's talking about that. Nobody talks about that. It's accepted as, it's acceptable and it's normal, and it's something that's protected. You don't talk about nobody's mom. You say somebody anything bad about somebody's mom, that's a fight right on the spot, hands down. You can talk about their dad all day, but you say anything about their mom, come on, y'all know how it is. You know how it is. Say anything about their mom, it could be true. It's gonna be a fight. We're gonna fight. And there's a reason for that. Because we're connected to our mothers in a way that, you know, it's just it's beyond physical. It's beyond physical. This is the person that your spirit channeled through, that your spirit channeled through, that your spirit connected with, and you worked with to create the body that you're in. Using her DNA. Yeah, you use the father's DNA too, but that was just a sperm. You understand? It was just one little microscopic portion of what you used. Whereas you're inside this woman and her thoughts, her feelings, her everything, you know, you're like becoming one to an extent. Um, you're, there's no there's no example on this planet that's closer to a human being's relationship with the creator as your relationship with your mother. There's nothing closer than that, and we have a lot of religions spend a lot of time, God the Father, et cetera, et cetera. But nobody talks about the nurturing, mothering nature of God. Since I'm speaking English, so I'm saying God. There's no better word to use in English. I mean, unfortunately, that's the case, and I'm saying that because I understand people listening saying, why you say God, you should be saying this or you should be saying that, because it's widely accepted, and I don't feel like breaking every little thing down to everybody. Or people ask, okay, well, why you say black? Black is, a slave term. Black is this, and that. Legally, it means this and that. Okay, you understand that. That's great. We all understand that, but everybody doesn't understand that. And the point is for people to get the message, not for people to be confused. Want to make it as easy as possible for people to get the message, what's important. Anywho, so, and we have to be careful too about stressing over some terms like such, like black. Black is amazing. I love the term black. I love the term black. Who cares that socially or legally they've made it to mean this or made it to mean that? We as a people redefine words all the time. We are the ones who everybody's following. For those who are supposedly conscious, you should know that. It's nothing but a thing. And if you want to say more, more, I mean, ultimately that means what? And you translate it to English as black. I mean, anywho, so I'm moving on from there. But I have to address that almost all the time because that's what people are. The littlest thing keeps us divided and from accepting what's real and what's truth and whatever can help. And right now what's important is that people receive the help and the guidance that they need. All right, Nimi Poo, you ready to get out of that seat? So, I'm one of those people that, I wasn't mothered. I wasn't mothered by anyone. And I won't turn this into my soapbox. I'm not going to do that. Because that's a deep pain. It's a deep pain. And as a healer, and I know my capabilities. You may not know, but I know my capabilities as a healer, as someone who has been gifted with, from a Christian standpoint, the anointing of laying on of hands and praying for people and getting results. Praying for myself and getting results with physical ailments or whatever, what have you. That's me. So when I say that trauma of that mothers can cause is something that, you can't just lay your hands on somebody and make that go away. It's not that. If you're working a miracle, and I believe in miracles. I definitely believe in miracles. But we have to understand that that can only go but so far. Okay? Because just like Reiki, we get so caught up in these different things that make us feel better temporarily that we don't put in the work to really heal and to really develop within ourselves character and change, generational change, what they call breaking generational curses. It requires more than a hoop and a holler. It requires more than just a little Reiki. Yeah, you my chakras are cleared now, or dealing with the symptoms of the problem with when you're talking about a problem that is now a code, now coded in your DNA, now coded in your genes, you know, because that's this stuff carries on for generations. It carries on for generations and stems from babies being snatched out of their mother's arms, stems from, you know, a means to survive, a means to survive, you know. And it's sad that that's a reality. So no, I don't feel like we should bash mothers. I don't think anybody should be bashed, other than those evil people who have created such an hostile, sick, and traumatic environment for human beings and want to create a prison here all over this planet for everyone to be enslaved to them and giving to them and working for them while they just enjoy living life and liberties that others cannot enjoy. Mm. At the end of the day, it all goes back to that. It cannot be ignored. It cannot be, everything goes back to that. All right, so, nobody posted any questions or anything. I posted a little link to my blog if anybody wants to go read the blog that I did on motherhood. So I got a lot of good feedback, and we're supposed to be doing a show later with Brother Maurice Muhammad, and I'm not sure who all else is going to be a part of that conversation. But I agreed to do that to kind of discuss this some more. So be on the lookout for that. I will share that as well with everybody. But for those who don't know, I do, offer to help anybody who wants assistance, whether it is spiritual counseling, psychotherapy, healing, that's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I do. So, and I'm not dogmatic. So there's no place I think you can come from that I can't relate to, or no place you can come from that, it's going to surprise me or I'll be judgmental or anything like that. I'm too close to God. That's all I can say. I'm too close. I'm one of those people that, I can have an argument with God and God's going to answer me, and I can say to God, like, look, I need you to do this right now. I need you to do this right now. Like, this is not cool, and hey, the universe, the all, the creator, the source, whatever terms or phrases you want to use in the English language, Allah, most certainly Allah is one of my favorites because that's the most ancient, that you can come out of your mouth. Allah. Yes. Woo. Yeah, we like this, okay? So anyway. If you have any questions or, anybody wants to me to expand on anything that I've discussed, I'm open to doing so, so that's what this live is about, me opening it up for y'all. And I'm open for dialogue, open to dialogue about any of those things, anything I've said on this or anything I've blogged about. Let's see here. And that's it, really. That's all I got to say. I've been on here for about 35 minutes. So I think I pretty much covered it, what I was trying to express. Of course, I was talking about that internal moment I have with my daughter. I said eternal because we are eternal beings. You know, you're not just this body. You know, you're eternal. You came from God. If you are, you know, a child of God, you know, you came from God, you're gonna return back to God, and God is eternal. So you are eternal. Um, your consciousness, you know, you are light. You are pure light. That's the essence of who we are. You know, God is light. You are pure light. You know, children of the sun. So that eternal moment that I'm talking about is where me and my daughter, as if we were one, the eternal moment of being one, realizing and understanding that oneness and consciousness where myself and her is speaking to me, or you can say God and her speaking to the God in me, or however you want to put it, and me answering back. That's what I was referring to. I just wanted to make sure it was clear. Because I know people try to understand things from where they are. And I want to challenge people to grow from where you are. And I'm not saying that arrogantly, but out of love, you know, and out of truth. So yeah, miracles can happen. Most certainly, miracles happen through the Creator all the time. Miracles do happen. Absolutely. But many times, miracle isn't what you need. You need to put in the work. You need to put in the work and make a permanent change that you can understand consciously so that everything isn't so spooky. You can understand what's going on. You can understand what you're calling a miracle. You can understand that. Understand what's occurring metaphysically or physically even. It's called cellular consciousness, you know. Anyway, I talk about some of these things in my books, Foundations of Self-Healing. I've written a book. I'm working on the second one. But I don't too much promote myself or promote my stuff too much. That's just me. That's just me. To me, that's kind of like takes too much energy. And, you know, I'd rather focus on other things. All right. Peace.